And we are live. This is Travis from Travis Carter Capital Help. Hopefully everybody's doing very well on this. My chair's squeaking around. Jeez. Hope everybody's doing very well as we go through and be able to take a look at the overall trading that's happening this overall week. As we talked about before, I think trading is going to end up being very slow, but gives us time to be able to test. In the middle of being able to test, it puts us into a good situation to be able to see what's going on with certain items that we end up having, whether it's EAs or anything else like that, and trying to put everything into perspective. For the people that have recently ended up purchasing the Boss EA, thank you for being able to do that. I really do appreciate that. What we're going to end up doing is I'm going to end up having a discussion with y'all on certain things that I end up noticing going into last week, and obviously what we're going to end up doing going into the near future. So if you would, just give me a second because I ended up changing my background to where I had to be able to use a green screen that's showing up a little bit weird. I want to make sure that that showed up right. Give me one quick second. There we go. I can still see a little bit of fade, but we can work with that. I hope everybody's doing very well. This is Travis from Carter Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the overall market. Hopefully everybody end up having a very good weekend. What we're going to end up doing is talking about trading that is going on today. Obviously, being able to get prepared for the beginning of the year, and all of the trading that's going to end up going along with that. And other things as we go through our manual trading as well, just trying to see and trying to optimize everything to be able to make it work, just like anything else. But with that being said, let's go ahead and go through the disclaimer. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. Now, understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money, also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you're going to end up making money today. So with that being said, as we go through and take a look at what's going on from an economic calendar standpoint, there's really not that much news that's going to end up coming out today, aside from at 10 p.m. a little bit later on today with the Bank of Japan having an interest rate decisions. So we will take a look at that overall. I'm going to end up writing hey inside of the chat box. Just make sure that, just to be able to make sure that everybody can be able to see it. If you have any questions or anything else like that, obviously you can be able to type that in inside of the actual chat box. And I end up answering those quickly. If you're on the Discord, you can be able to ask your questions through the Discord, through our live stream questions area inside of the farm. And I can be able to get to those a little bit relatively quickly as well as we go through. But let's take a look at what's happening with the charts. Let's talk about what we are doing with the Boss Band EA and trying to get everything situated with that. With the Boss EA, obviously it ended up passing the Ftmo trial challenge. We're getting ready for January when it comes down to that. Making sure we end up getting all of those tweaks and little bugs and everything else out of it, seeing if we end up noticing stuff. See if there's any type of outliers to be able to make sure that everything is good for everyone as we go through. But we're going to start off with the big three. You're not familiar with what the big three is: the United States dollar index, gold, oil. We end up taking a look at those because it gives us a better chance to be able to know what's happening. But the first thing that popped onto my screen was Bitcoin, so I am going to end up talking about that. So Rich, if you're in, there we go. We'll start talking about Bitcoin first, get that out the way, and then kind of move on to everything else. From a daily perspective, from a daily perspective for the chart, my overall thought process was this. We expected that the market was going to go up to 18,240. And that was from a breakout of the actual consolidation box, and that ended up happening. It ended up happening about 3 to 4 days ago. When that happened, it popped up, hit our position at 18,240, put us in profit, and then after that, the market quickly started to reject all over again. So what does that prove? It proves that we end up having a past We end up having a past breakout to the downside when the market broke below 18,240, turning this into a broken support. And when you end up having a broken support, you end up having a retest of a breakout. From that retest of the breakout, the market ended up rejecting from there. So that means to me that the market is truly bearish from this movement. Now, is that surprising in December? The answer to that, simply put, is no. The reason why it's not surprising is because typically in December, cryptocurrency goes down in value because people end up using whatever profits that they end up having or taking some of that profit out to be able to use for gifts and everything else like that, at least in our area. So that does not surprise me one bit that ended up happening. The thing now is, okay, well, what is the next move? From a overall standpoint of if you should get in right now at this particular point and being able to make a decision on that, I would kind of shy away from being able to make a decision on being able to get in. We're outside of consolidation ranges now, and we need to see how this market's going to end up building up. Because now the question is, we've had 3 different consolidation areas. Are we going to end up looking at this being a full consolidation box now? And now the new support is at 15,800. And we just have to be able to wait in between that. If that is the case, then that means that we only have a 33% chance of being able to win if the market is inside of this overall area, which means that especially going into the Christmas season, going into what we're going to end up doing from the 20th and everything else, then there's really no movement to be able to go from there. What's going on, Block? I literally just said, hey, since Bitcoin was the first thing on the chart, we're going to end up talking about this one first. But essentially what I think is going to end up happening is that I think that the market's going to be in consolidation. Ultimately, I think that the market's just in consolidation, and there's no move to be able to take off of this one, at least not yet, that I would feel comfortable in being able to do. Okay, so staying away from that one. I appreciate it. I'm still trying to get the kinks out of it. I've had it for a while. I just don't like, you know how you end up having a break, you end up installing something, but you got to be able to figure out how to put it back up. That's the case, or be able to break it back down. That's the case with this green screen. I've had it for at least 2 years now. Let's go. United States dollar index. As we take a look at what's happening with United States dollar index from a weekly perspective, currently right now, the last time that we ended up taking a look at this market was hitting a natural support at 12,880 or 12,890. From there, we was inside of the buy zone, which means that we end up having a breakout. Now we have a retest of this overall area. We're probably going to retest this overall channel that we end up having, or that rising wedge that we end up having overall. We may end up hitting that in the future when it comes down to this movement. I'm going to get rid of these boxes now because it doesn't matter about that. That has already happened. I'm going to get rid of this. That has already happened. That. Don't need this anymore. I think we had this as a consolidation, so we'll keep that. Keep that purple one. All right, so essentially what I think is probably going to end up happening is this. We have a breakout. We have a retest. We're probably going to end up testing the backside of this overall area. It'll probably end up doing something to the extent of pushing up, retesting, and then after that, seeing if the market's going to end up falling or being able to break head to the upside based off of that. Now, obviously, that's speculation with this, trying to see how everything kind of works. But if that does happen, that's going to happen over the course of the next 4 to 8 weeks. I'm sorry, for the next 8 to 11 weeks when it comes down to movement, because we are in the buy zone. And typically, when you're in the buy zone with the stochastic, you're talking about 7 to 11 weeks of overall movement in one direction from a buy zone to a sell zone area, especially if the market's truly trending. Now, with that being said, if we take a look at that from a daily perspective, we end up having this bullish morning star that end up happening on Thursday. We end up having a retest of the candlestick on Friday, but there was really light movement overall. And what's happening currently right now is that we're in the middle of consolidation. I think we're going to end up being built out, or the market is probably going to build out inside of this area for the next probably for the foreseeable future until the beginning of the year. Remember, I am done personally live trading at this particular point. I am out when it comes down to cash. I'm strictly going to end up demoing at this particular point, trying to be able to get all the kinks out and trying to get prepared for January with all the little subtle tweaks and everything else that we need to do when it comes down to our EAs. But I don't foresee a future that I'm going to end up taking a trade off the U.S. dollar index. I see what the bots do, but I don't see a point of being able to trade this based off of how it looks. So I'm going to stay away from that. Oil, we ended up talking about it had a chance to be able to break outside of 77.11. If it did break past this purple trend line, it did not. The market ended up rejecting, so the market is truly bearish. There's a counter trend line break that has happened when it came down to this movement. I don't like this new function on Smart Trader. Smart Trader was literally just one click. Okay, there we go. From a weekly perspective, the market was in consolidation. 77.11 was one of those major support levels. They ended up getting broken last week. From there, the market is on a push zone, which means that it still could technically be able to fall. It could fall all the way down to 64 at this particular point, but currently right now, there's really no movement to be able to take that I'll be somewhat interested in on just from a weekly perspective. Now, let's take a look at it from a daily perspective and kind of see. We had a rejection from a weekly perspective. The direction is showing signs that it could go up. The daily perspective, we look at it visually, is showing signs that it could go down. Because the time frame alignment is not there, I'm just going to go ahead and just stay away. I do expect that the market may end up falling based off of the way that we're looking at the chart right now. From a 2-hour perspective, we had a little breakout, had a little retest already, but I'm seeing that buyers are saying hold up for a second before we start to make a move. There's a little bit of indecision. Obviously, it's 6:30 in the morning, so we don't have a full volatility of the market. But once again, I probably wouldn't jump in on this one either until we end up getting further information a little bit later on today. Been a lot of erratic movements. Obviously, we've seen what ended up happening last week when it came down to all these sharp movements to the downside. And for the people that was in the market in that situation, I hate it for y'all because obviously y'all end up getting wiped out when it came down to that. But we'll see how the market just works overall on that. Arizona, what's going on, big dog? Hope everything's going well. Hey, hold on. I think I might be free from TradingView jail. Let me see. I'm gonna write a message to you, because you're the first person that popped up. So I'm just gonna check and see. I'm gonna write, hey, let me see if I'm out of it. Hey, there we go. I'm out. Go figure. If you know, you know. I'm gonna take that off the screen. I really want to get up to 1,000 followers on TradingView. I'm so goddamn close. Yeah, it's so dang close, but that's funny. Let's see. Let's take a look at gold. Take a look at what's happening with gold. So we end up having an order that ended up getting placed in because we end up talking about the market being in consolidation. I think a lot of people are starting to kind of catch that gold is probably going to end up making a move at the beginning of the year. And yeah, that's funny. Like I said, I'm not, my primary streams will not be on TradingView anymore. It doesn't make any sense if I'm being honest. I will stream one time. I'll probably stream one time, maybe a couple times throughout the week, but I'm not going to end up doing it at the capacity that I was doing it. It's just not gonna. It doesn't make any sense to. But even with that being said, we are in the middle of consolidation overall. The market has to break above 1811 when it comes down to being able to look at any buy trades. The market will have to break below 1760 before even thinking about doing any sell trades, because the market is in the middle. There's really no trade to be able to take. For people that like to be able to scalp, there may be a scalping opportunity for you. But for me personally, I like consolidation to build out, and I like getting on the outside of it and fighting on the outside of it with everybody else once I end up knowing who's the actual winner of that overall movement. So on this one. Going to stay away, but still have 2 orders. Set it up again at 1811. Take profit will be 1872. Stop loss will be 1789. Sell trades. If the market breaks below 1765, have a take profit of 1730. With a stop loss of 1781, and we end up going from there when it comes down to this movement. Because we have new people inside of the Discord, what I'm going to do is send this as a screenshot example as a way for everyone else to be able to take a look at it. So give me 1 second so I can make sure that I end up sending this over to everybody when it comes down to that. It'll be real quick. Let's see. Upload file. Downloads. Okay. All right, cool. So there we go. Not going to do anything off of gold yet, but that is the 2 orders as we end up taking a look. Let's take a look. Speaking of trading view, let's take a look at trading view and let's see what's happening with US 30. Let me take y'all messages off now. Chart. All right, so question is, raise your hand if you end up taking a trade on NAS 100. We'll start off with NAS 100. Raise your hand if you end up taking a trade on NAS 100. We end up having that as an idea and being able to get into based off of what we were seeing with the market actually falling into a low volume node. Now, from an Ichimoku standpoint, it's not necessarily the greatest trade because they haven't broke outside of the cloud. But we do see that the market end up breaking outside of the overall triangle, overall box that we end up having where the market end up breaking below 11,445. We end up having an order on that at 11,420 with a take profit of 11,120. If you end up taking that trade currently right now, we got very close to being able to hit take profit. I would probably say look at, if you're still in, look at being able to take partial profit as the market is starting to move. From a 15-minute perspective, I would pay attention to and see if the market's going to end up having a jump. I know it's in the sell zone, but the VWAP is showing that the market is somewhat bullish overall. Or at least the thought process is the market is somewhat bullish overall. I'm seeing that I'm frozen on YouTube. What's going on? Oh, okay, cool. But from a trend line perspective, probably should have took a little bit of profit a little bit earlier. If you did not, I would kind of wait and see how the market's going to end up reacting. What is this? Oh, the symbols. I'll wait and see how the market's going to end up reacting, if it's going to end up popping to the downside and continue to move towards this overall finish. We were very close to being able to hit that full take profit. If you did not take a little bit of a partial profit, I would probably consider taking some now as we go through and see how everything's going to end up working overall with the market on this one. But no trade as of yet, but it is in the sell zone on the hour. Let's see where it is on the 15-minute. 15 minutes getting closer to the buy zone, which means that the market's probably going to continue to keep on pushing up. I would take profit. I would go ahead and just lock it in and just move on, because I think that the market's going to end up ultimately being slow. I really do. Yeah, ultimately, I think the market's going to be slow. We got time for one more, and then after that, we're done. US 30. So US 30 end up hitting our take profit. If you end up taking that trade with us, congratulations. End up getting in at 33,330. Take profit was at 33,300. That end up hitting on, what was it, yesterday? On Friday. If you end up taking that trade, congratulations. Obviously, it took us a while for that trade to be able to get entered in. Overall, but at the same time, the whole reason why you end up doing a vortex trade, you just place it in, set, forget, get out the way, allow the system to be able to do it. If you get kicked out the first time, re-enter, you'll be back in the same situation because the market is breaking below that overall area. So you end up taking that trade. Congratulations. There you go. There's no trade to be able to take right now and wait for the market to be able to build out on consolidation. There's really nothing much to be able to say off of that one. But you like what I end up doing, please make sure that you end up liking the Trade with Travis page. Please make sure that you end up going to Expert Advisor reviews as well. Be able to see what we end up having for us new reviews and everything else like that. That includes all the stuff that's going on with the Boss EA. We're going to end up having a couple videos. One is going to end up being on an undefeated triangle. The other one's going to end up being on the golden pickaxe. I am finishing up both of those videos overall. So if you would like to be able to get a review on those EAs as well, please make sure that you end up taking a look at that on Expert Advisor reviews. But like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade your plan. I'll see y'all in the next video.